Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking this video. We continue our journey creating a Flask blog for all my projects as a blind developer. And I'm sharing with you my journey and all the libraries and all the techniques I use to create this application. Today, I want to organize the code in a more manageable way. So far, we created routes, basic routes like index, about function or route, and we also created a login function, which doesn't actually do anything. It is just a way to demonstrate how to accept form, content, or data from the user. Today, I want to use what they call application factory. They call it blueprint. So today I want to use blueprints. And a blueprint, as I understand it, is a way to create mini apps, small apps within the larger application. In our case, the Flask blog. So for example, I want to have a blueprint for transit, which all the bus routes in my city, the train routes, the schedule, all the bus stops in my area will be stored when the next bus will come. Since I am blind, I don't drive, I don't have a car, I use the bus and public transportation and I rely on them. It's very important for me to keep track of the local transit agency's schedule. Fortunately, my city, the city of Minneapolis, they have a public API. So we're going to use that API to create a very powerful blueprint that anyone can use. So in order to reorganize this app, we have to divide the app into modules. There would be main module, which would take care of the main entry of the application, that is the index, the about page, general blog posts that has nothing to do with a specific thing. Let's start creating blueprints. So we are a tree here, and by the way, if you want to see the code, source code, it's always the description below, so you can review it, you can copy paste it, you can run it yourself. It is always in my GitHub account. First thing that we will do is we will create a class called config that will store our secret key. We will say import OS and the class will be config, and the secret key, we access it just like yesterday I told you, environ get secret key, and we just write here debug true just for testing purposes. After this, that we will create a new folder. We're gonna call it app. The blueprint, the way we can create it, we will say main, and inside main directory we will create init file. And to create a module in Python, what you would do is from Flask import blueprint. You say blueprint bb. You would say main and name here. And from app main import routes. So we're gonna create a routes file here. And the first thing that we will do is we will import Flask. We will import render template. We will import redirect, URL4, and flash. Because we need all of these to render templates, to redirect the user to different pages, flash a message in the page, and so on. And also we need to import our blueprint. So our blueprint is main, and we will import this. So we go back to app.py, and we will copy the index here, and we will delete it here, and we will go to routes in the main blueprint. We are not using app anymore, we are using pp, and here's the index. Also we have to get the about page. Go back to app in a main blueprint, and we change the app to pp, and now the main routes, index and about route. We need to also create another blueprint called auth, authentication. We will create auth, and we will continue creating init. We say from Flask blueprint pp blueprint auth. We also need to add prefix before route will be called, just like any other social media application. Usually you see in social media applications you see the domain like Instagram, right? .com. Then they say /, then there would always be auth, and then there is login or register or whatever, right? You want to have the same thing here, and the way you do that, you'll say prefix URL prefix / auth. You also need to have its own templates inside the blueprint. We will have template folder, say templates, and we will import routes, and we will create routes here. Let's copy here, and we don't need to import from main. We need to import from auth. We will copy from app.py here and change the app to BB. So the only thing that we also need to change here, instead of saying URL for index, we will say main.index, because index now is attached to the blueprint main, and in the templates it will be under auth, not just login HTML. So in auth folder we will create a templates directory. We will move the login to here. Also inside the auth templates, we also need to create another directory called auth, and we will put the login inside auth. You will see everything in the GitHub source code, so don't worry about it. Inside the original app.py, we don't need this, right? We delete this, and we also don't need all of these. We will say from app import create app, that we will create soon, and we will say app create app. So we have to create init for the app, but before that, inside the auth folder we need to import the login form, right? We need to create forms inside the auth folder. Say forms, and here is forms. We'll just copy this and we will paste it here inside the auth forms, and inside the routes of auth we will copy app auth forms login form. So we don't need this old forms, so we're gonna delete it. Right click the app folder. You're gonna create another Python file called init, and this would be the main. This is the factory that creates all the blueprints here. Say from Flask import Flask. You say dev create app, and we also want to take in the config class. We'll say class config. You have to import it config, and here inside the create app we will create the Flask app, and we will return the app here. We will create the two blueprints that we created from app main import pp as main pp register blueprint main blueprint. So we have to add the secret key to the app config. Say config object from class from object, and we will pass the class config here. So this would be it for the config, and this is the routes for the auth. Not about the main routes. Main routes only has index and about routes. So I think we are good. Just a problem here. Oh, I forgot to add colon at the end of function declaration. Here the templates should be moved inside the app folder, otherwise you will see an error. So you don't need this. So the main templates would show the about page, the index page, and this base template would be inherited by all pages regardless of the blueprint. It will be inherited. So let's test our blueprints and see if they are working. We say export Flask app.py, export Flask env development Flask run. Internal server error. Oh, I see the problem. The issue is probably the templates here in the base template. So instead of saying just index, you will say main index. main index, and the login is inside the auth blueprint. So I think this will fix it. Let me refresh it. Let me run it again. Now everything works just like before, but now we are using different blueprints. We can go to about, we can go to login. If we submit the form, it says, logged in user test, and the remember me was false because we didn't check this. Now if we do and we submit it, you can see true. You also need to add more blueprints here. Other blueprints that we need is the error blueprint. Sometimes you would get a 404 or 500 error. So you say errors, and you will create init bp name. We need the prefix here. You also need its own template, and say templates, and we will import the handler here, and we will create a Python file here. We will get from Flask import Flask render template URL for flash if we need it, and redirect. We also need to import the pp. Say at pp error handler, and we will take 404. If there is a 404 a page not found error, we will say page not found here, and we will take error, return render template, and our template will be inside errors folder. I will say 404 HTML, and after the render template function, we will say comma 404. We also need 500 error, and we need to change 400 to 500. We need to change 404 to 500. So inside the errors folder, we will create a directory. We will call templates. Inside the template, we will create another directory called errors, and we will create the files, HTML files. And first we will say 404. We will delete this, and we will say here we will just write h1 page not found. Copy this, and we will create 500 error. Delete the initial HTML base. So we're gonna say error occurred. Please try again later. Oh, we forgot to register the error blueprint in the application. We say here inside the create app function from app the blueprint. So we're gonna run our application Flask run. So if we go to a page that doesn't exist, let's say soccer, so you can see 404 page is called page not found. You can also pass a title inside the error handler. We say title page not found, and inside the 500 error we will say title. If we refresh it again, you can see there is like page not found. I don't know how I can initiate 500 error. If that happens, our 500 template will be shown. So I think this tutorial is finished. I wanted to reorganize the code so that when I add a lot of code later on, I don't have to organize a bunch of code that I cannot handle. Now, since it is so early in our journey, we can reorganize our blueprints. So we created auth blueprint, we created errors blueprint, we created main blueprints, we registered all the blueprints in the application, we returned the function create app, also put the configurations inside a dedicated class here, config, and anytime that we want to use the configuration, we just import the class and we use the secret key through the class. And I think here these templates remain the same because we always need the base HTML. We always need some sort of index page. We also need about page. Those are the static HTMLs that every blog needs. I hope you find this helpful. If you did, please give this video a like, and I really appreciate if you subscribe to this channel. I'm really looking forward to my 1,000th subscriber. If you want the source code would be in the description below. If you have any questions, let me know. Just ask in the comment section below. I will see you tomorrow.